Hi and welcome to this Premier League podcast. I'm Oscar and I'm joined by my co-host as usual.
Hi, I'm Daniel, and we're here today to talk about the month of January in the Premier League. So let's start with transfers that's happened since it's been a window of transfers. So yeah, let's start. Arsenal brought in two players of worth: Pablo Mari, a centre back from Flamengo on loan, and Cedric Suarez, more known as only Cedric, right back from Southampton, also on loan. So yeah, strengthening defensively, which I think is what Arsenal needs to do.
Yeah, it has
So
always been their weakness in my opinion.
yeah, or at least for a very long time.
Oh, exactly, like in my the last few years at least, it's always the weakness.
Yeah. So yeah, I have no idea how good Pablo Mari is. Time will tell. Cedric has been doing very well for Southampton, so I'm guessing he's in for a Bayern. I'm guessing he's injured again. He's been injured a lot, sadly. So yeah, can I don't think it can hurt. Next team, let's get to this a little bit quickly because there's a lot to talk about. We have Danny Drinkwater on loan from Chelsea, which I think is a good signing.
Yeah, he has
Uh,
a really highest level at least.
yeah, not good enough for Chelsea, but I definitely think he's good enough for Aston Villa. We have Pepe Reina, the old Liverpool goalkeeper from many years ago,
Yeah.
on loan from AC Milan. He's already played. He's in for injured Tom Heaton. That's why they signed him, and he's been doing quite well. Um,
The man that
so,
refuses to end his career.
yeah, and it's fun. Like he's still capable, so why should he?
Exactly.
And last impressive player or important player that I think for Aston Villa is a guy called Mbwana Samata, signed from Genk. He's a striker, and he has already scored his first goal in the first game for Aston Villa. So good signs. I really hope so because they've had some troubles scoring goals. So yeah, their second striker signed from Belgium in in this year. First one, of course, was Wesley, signed from Bruges. But yeah, moving on. Bournemouth. No transfers worth mentioning, so we're moving straight on to Brighton, which their only worth-worthy signing is Aaron Moy, which they already had on loan from Huddersfield. He's now permanently joined Brighton, and I think that's a good investment.
Yeah, he has been pretty well good for them by their standards.
Yeah, so yeah, I think good business. Then Burnley, same as Bournemouth, nothing really no worthy of mention. Moving on to Chelsea, they have two loanees leaving. Danny Drinkwater, already mentioned, not that important for them. Victor Moses, been out on loan for the first part of the season, now on loan to Inter Milan of all places. They're going to come back a few more times in this list. So I don't think it's a major losses, but I still think it was worth mentioning.
Yeah, and they loan out a lot of players if you're looking on a season.
Yeah. I mean, the list of players they loaned out just this window,
Yeah.
it was just so much.
It really
So
is true in what they say in April or when it is April, May, that 2% of the UK population comes back.
all the Chelsea loanees.
Yeah,
But yeah, moving on. Crystal Palace signed Cenk Tosun from Everton on loan. He's already also scored his first goal for Crystal Palace. And I think that's a striker not being used by Everton and Crystal Palace needing a striker to score them goals. I think this is a good deal for both of them and for Tosin as well, of course.
yeah. He
So
needs more playing time.
yeah, and he'll definitely get it at Crystal Palace, I think. So yeah, interesting to see how he'll fare. Now, of course, yeah, Everton already mentioned St. Tosin out. The only thing worth mentioning. Moving on to Leicester, they have signed Ryan Bennett from Wolverhampton on loan, a centre back who he played quite a bit last season, but he hasn't played that much this season. But I think it's still an interesting idea, interesting signing. I don't know though how much he'll play because it feels like it's hard to push out either Sunsu or Evans,
Yeah, that's
which is
my
a slim
opinion
pairing.
too. But so yeah, this would be interesting to actually see the playing time he's getting.
Yeah, is that like maybe placing instead of Evans, trying to youngsten that, or is he just signed in for as a rotation? Like, yeah, time will tell. His first game will actually be against his parents' club, Wolverhampton. Whether or not he plays, time will tell. But yeah, so yeah. Moving on to Liverpool, and they have one signing worth mentioning, and they got this done quickly. It was done like the 1st or 2nd of January, and it's Takumi Minamino from Red Bull Salzburg, which they've had in their Champions League group stage, and he's been doing quite well against them. So I guess that's why they signed him.
Yeah.
Attacking player, and what I know, he still hasn't played for Liverpool, but with the injury now to Mane, there's always going to come more opportunities
Yeah.
to maybe get that
But
chance.
does Liverpool really need more attacking players?
Not starting lineup, but perhaps in backup.
Yeah.
Right now they have Origi, which I, when they signed him many years ago now, he was an interesting prospect, definitely. But I always saw him as a central striker. It feels like now that Liverpool using him, they use him as a wide. Like he takes the place of either Mane or Salah. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think last game it was Origi that started. Minamino was still on the bench. But yeah, maybe it's still a learning process for him to learn. I don't know his English, how good that is. I don't know if he understands the system, but yeah. Yeah, I think it can definitely turn out to be an interesting signing.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to their title contenders, Manchester City, which since pretty much the injury to Laporte and the injury problems for Stones, sorry, uh, they've been talking about needing to strengthen in defensive areas in the January window. Now we're at the end of it, and the only thing they did was to sell a defender,
Yeah, that makes no sense to
or
me.
actually loan him out. I'm pretty sure I actually wrote that wrong there. Loaned them out to Red Bull Salzburg, and it was Angelino, one of the left backs, that they just brought back from PSV in the Netherlands before the season. So they gave him 6 months, which I don't understand.
No. I really saw a back in the middle coming, but yeah, they instead they loan out him.
Yeah, I mean they have Mendy, they have Sinchenko, which has been doing lots of the left back work, but it's still weird to loan out when you need the defensive cover. Yes, left back you had three, but yeah, it's still a weird decision, I think. But yeah,
Yeah.
moving on to Man United, and this is where it starts cranking up a little bit. They have four transfers worth noting. Incoming, Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon, a attacking midfielder,
Yeah, that's really
and
interesting.
Yeah, that is a
Yeah.
really interesting signing, and they've been chasing him for quite a while now.
I think he can do some damage against other teams.
Yeah, he looked good in his first game. No goal scored, and a nil-nil draw for them against Wolverhampton, but he was one of the most positive players on their side. So yeah, hopefully he can grow from there.
Yeah.
Other new signing is a old Premier League contact of Odion Igalo, old Watford player that they brought in from Shanghai Shenhua in China on loan, which I guess is just I think is to replace Rashford. Is it? That's on the injury table. I don't quite remember, but it was something like that at least. That's why they brought him in, and he's well into his 30s by now.
Yeah, I'm not as excited by him.
No, like he can be good, but yeah, it's a big gamble. Now outgoing, we have Ashley Young, the captain of last year, that joined Inter Milan again.
Is
That team.
everybody joining them
Um,
or
no,
leaving them?
not everybody, but yeah, we have a few more in this list.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it's a weird one. He was captain last season. This season, he pretty much pushed himself out. He forced them to sell him. So I don't know what was going on there. But yeah, I don't know if Man United is going to miss him in the way of the player he was, but he was a leader out there, so they might lose that. Moving on. But yeah, time will
Yeah.
tell. The other player leaving is a player that haven't played that much, which is Marcos Rojo, centre back, loaned out to Estudiantes in Argentina. Just giving him some playtime. But yeah, they've been trying to get rid of him for a bit, so at least now they got him out of the door, even though it's temporary.
Yeah.
Yeah, time tell if that's a good move or not. Right, next team, Newcastle, and I think they have had the most interesting window when it comes to incoming transfers. And they have signed three players all on loan. Nabil Bentaleb, centre mid from Schalke. Valentino Lazaro, a right mid slash right back from Inter Milan. Third time.
Yeah.
And Danny Rose, left back from Tottenham.
That's not bad.
No, that's really interesting. Because both Danny Rose and Lazaro is quite offensive fullbacks or wide midfielders in Lazaro's case, or wing back as he really played for Inter Milan. But yeah, details. And Bentaleb, I think he's not quite a sitting midfielder, but it's not that super attacking either. I think it's just in the middle there, controlling the tempo pretty much, which I think is a really interesting signing too. I watched him in the Bundesliga for a few years, and yeah, we can't wait to see what he can do in Newcastle. Yeah, this is definitely a team to look out for when the games start rolling again. Moving on to Norwich, the team in most need of reinforcements, being last in the table, and they brought in Andre Duda from Hertha Berlin on loan. And this guy is an attacking midfielder and has been doing quite well the last, I would say, year and a half with Hertha. That's really when he started to come into his own. And yeah, I think he can
He's
start
not a
creating
bad.
something
He's not a
there.
bad player.
No, and with him through the middle and then Cantwell on the left, Bindi on the right, they have a lot of creative force there now.
Yeah.
I just hope they can get it to gel together and give Pookie the chances, or give whoever else wants to finish a good chance at it.
Who else is going to
This
finish?
well, Cantwell has scored a few goals.
Yeah.
Duda has been known to pop up with a goal here and there for Hertha.
Yeah. That's where I know him from.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting that too.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. We're getting through this, people. We have Sheffield United, and we're gonna start off with the player that they actually won a pretty much. They won this player signing over Man United, which is a Norwegian a player called Sander Berge that played for Genk in the Belgian league, and looks really interesting. 21-year-old center defensive midfielder. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what he can bring to that team. Along with him, they have brought in Panagiotos Retsos, a defender from Bayer Leverkusen on loan, and this is one of the guys. He's been there around the Bayer squad for quite a long time, but he doesn't really get the playing time. So I think this is a positive move for him as well. Maybe get some more playing time here at Sheffield.
I think he really will get some more playing time because, in my opinion, or I don't know where they are today. Bayern Leverkusen is much harder to get him playing time in.
Yeah, I think so at least. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. Um, it's two interesting signings, definitely. Now, a player I want to mention leaving as well is not because he's been important to the team, but pretty much the other side. It's Ravel Morrison that Sheffield signed from Östersund in Sweden
Oh yeah.
going into the season, and he has not played a single minute in the east in the yeah here in the fall. So yeah, loaned out to Middlesbrough in the second tier of English football. Maybe he gets some playing time there, but yeah, it was a weird transfer at the time by them, and now now they loaned him out instantly. And actually, instead, they brought in another weird player, which is Jack Rodwell, another old, super talented guy that just has not made it work. So maybe he'll do better for Sheffield than Ravel did. Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for him to start though. There's a lot of good midfielders there now.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on. Southampton. They have pretty much switched right backs. As already mentioned, they have loaned out Cedi Suarez to Arsenal, and instead they have gotten Kyle Walker-Peters in from Tottenham, also on loan for the rest of the season. So yeah, it feels like a downgrade. This
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you actually.
Suarez to Walker-Peters, but I mean, Walker-Peters gets some play time,
Yeah.
and Southampton gets a younger, maybe more a little bit more hungry right back. I don't know. Or apparently he can also play left back. What I've heard. Um, interesting to follow, but yeah, maybe not the smartest deal by Southampton.
No, I don't. I don't think this is the best deal ever.
Yeah, I guess time will tell if we're wrong or
Yeah.
not. Moving on to Tottenham, they have three new signings, and we're going to start the one that was on loan but is now permanent, and it's Giovanni Lo Celso, brought in from Real Betis, who's been used quite sparingly at the start of the season, but towards the end now has gotten more and more playing time and has been doing quite well. So I think this is a smart thing by Tottenham to sign him permanently. I think he will only grow from here. Moving on, we have Gedson Fernandez, signed on from Benfica on a 1.5 year loan. Another midfielder, actually, just like Celso. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of
and
midfielders.
yeah, but they have had their problems there. So, I mean, it's smart to to really stack up there now while they have a chance. And the third player they signed was Steven Bergwijn from PSV, who actually scored on his debut. So, a great start to his career.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. And it was against Manchester City of all teams. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, they have lost, except for Danny Rose, which we already mentioned on loan to Newcastle, they have lost Christian Eriksen to Inter Milan.
Oh, what a surprise!
Yeah. Fourth time they're mentioned here. And yeah, I think this is coming. Um, if you look at his stats, um, he's not been doing as well this season, and I actually think that's partially because he's not wanting to be there anymore. So he didn't put in that extra work because he wanted to leave, and yeah, now we got his wish through, and yeah, can't wait to see what he's done in Inter Milan. But it's a massive blow for Tottenham.
You mean it's starting to feel like what is Premier League going to do in Inter Milan? Because everybody is either leaving Inter Milan or joining them.
Yeah, and then it mattered last window when they signed Sanchez, they signed Lukaku,
Yeah,
both from Man United, and I think they signed more from
that's
Inter.
it.
But
That's
oh yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. I guess that's Antonio Conte for you.
Yeah,
He brings in people that he knows, and apparently he loves the Premier League. So
What a weirdo.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. 3 teams to go. Let's move on. Watford. They have signed one player worth of note, and it's a guy called Ignazio Pussetto, signed from Udinese in Serie A. And I gotta say, I don't know the most of this guy. Apparently, he's been on the edge of the United Star team for the last 2 years or so. And he did come off the bench in his first game after signing for them, and he looked kind of okay. But yeah, time will
Yeah.
tell if he's a good adding or not.
I don't have any idea either. So just let's hope for the best.
Yeah. Now West Ham. Let's start with the goalkeeper merry-go-round, because while Fabianski has been injured, it's been a guy called Roberto that's been their pretty much main goalkeeper
Yeah.
until David Martin got a chance and pretty much took that spot away. Well, now Roberto have left on loan to Alaves in the Spanish league in La Liga, and instead they brought back Darren Randolph, a goalkeeper they used to have before but sold. And I think they sold him to Middlesbrough, and now they buy him from Middlesbrough again. And he was supposed to instead go in as the backup goalkeeper, their main goalkeeper of choice. Of course, now Fabianski is back, so Dan Randolph got like two games or so before
Yeah.
before he was put off to the bench again. But yeah, he did quite well. So I think that's still a good choice. But yeah, we'll see how much he gets to play. And then the last guy they brought in is a guy called Tomas Suchek, a defensive midfielder signed on loan from Slavia Prague, which is an interesting signing. He's not a guy I've heard of before, but looking him up, he's played quite a bit for the Czech national team, Czech Republic national team.
Mm.
So he's got to be good. And if there's anything to uh, just give Noble and his young partner whose name right now I've forgotten. Sorry about that. But yeah, giving them some more time to relax or to do other things. It's I think it's going to be positive.
Yeah, West Ham needs to do something at least.
Yeah, they are not looking good, but yeah, we're getting on to that later.
Yeah.
Now the last team, Wolverhampton, and I start with the guy they signed. Another guy that at least I don't know. I would say anything about it, to be fair.
Well, not me either.
His name
I'm not
is
big in Greece.
yeah yeah. His name is Daniel Podence, something like that. Son from Olympiacos. Don't know much about him. I don't know how important he's going to be to Wolverhampton, but yeah, he seemed interesting enough, so I put him on here. Now they have sent out 3 players, or should I say 2 players on loan and 1 loan being cancelled. Let's start with the cancelled loan, which is Jesus Vallejo, which they loaned from Real Madrid at the start of the season. He has barely played, and yeah, Real Madrid thought that's not enough. Cancelled the loan, called him back to them, and then sent him out on loan again to Granada, now in the La Liga instead. So yeah, they lost him, but I don't think really they're going to miss him. Other than that, as earlier said, Ryan Bennett going to Leicester, another defender, weirdly enough. And then the one that surprised me most when I heard about
Oh
it
yeah.
is Patrick Cutrone.
Why?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
Sent on loan to Fiorentina 6 months after they signed him from AC Milan, said to be, a backup to Jimenez to give him
Mm.
some breaks if he needed. But yeah, 6 months in, no, you're not needed. Send him out on loan the rest of the season.
That's just weird.
I mean, yeah, he hasn't had the easiest time to get into the team, I guess, Cutrone, but still think it's a weird move by Wolverhampton
Yeah.
to loan him out. But
It really is, in my opinion.
Like, what if Jimenez gets injured? What do they do? Who do they bring up top?
I have no idea.
Yeah, but I guess they might know something we don't.
Yeah,
So
let's hope so at least.
yeah, for their sake. All right, let's move on to the stuff we're actually usually talking about, and let's start with the matches that we looked at going into this month. And let's start on the Sunday of the 12th in January, Bournemouth against Watford. Now, this was Watford on a real roll, Bournemouth going down. Last game 0-0. This game, Watford win 3-0 away from home.
Yeah, so no surprise there, really.
No, no surprise. And yeah, just Bournemouth started sinking even further down. They looked better recently, which we'll get onto a little bit later, but yeah, at the time it looked pitch black pretty much.
Yeah.
They were just feeling like it was relegation written all over. Because it wasn't long before this Watford was a relegation candidate just as themselves. And then be beaten 3-0 is not good. So, yeah, not the best game for them.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Saturday, the 18th of January, we have 3 games. And we start with Watford against Tottenham. So, back again, Watford. Once again, in-form Watford side and slightly out-of-form Tottenham side, but Tottenham supposedly much, much better. It was 1-1 the first game, and this time 0-0. And I watched this game, and it was an amazing game. And I would say, just as when Watford played against Liverpool, they started to show that they were good. They started to push Liverpool and really make them hard for them during times. And during Tottenham, they did that too. For parts of the game, it was like Watford was the top team and Tottenham belonged in the bottom because Watford was doing so well, but they just wasn't able to get the ball into the net. They even had a penalty at the end of the game, which was saved by the goalkeeper. So, I mean, they could have easily gotten away with 3 points, but yeah, ended up 0-0.
Wasn't this
I guess an
the
unfair
game
game.
when Watford started to crumble?
Well, it was. This was the last game of their really good winning streak,
Yeah.
which we'll also get onto a little bit later. Um, but I wouldn't say they started to crumble in that sense because they still were really good the entire game.
But I meant by points. If you count only point
Yeah,
wise.
oh, definitely. But before this game, 6 points in 2 games. After this game, 0 points in 2 games. So yeah. While Tottenham, for them, this was the turning point the other way around.
Yeah.
They came in with 2 losses and they exited with 2 wins. So, but yeah. So fun enough how that worked out. But
Yeah.
yeah. Right. Moving on. Arsenal, Sheffield United. So yeah. Once again, the top team not playing as they should, and a surprise top team in Sheffield United challenging them, being the Giant Killers. Last game, Sheffield United won 1-0. This time around, 1-1 draw. And being at the Emirates, I think that's fine for Sheffield.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of a win in one way.
Yeah, they once again managed to get away with points against Arsenal,
Yeah.
and yeah, they deserved it once again. So it's like I don't know what more to say. Like Sheffield United has been such a revelation, just like Wolverhampton was last season. We don't expect newly promoted sides to be fighting for top 6, but that's what Sheffield is doing right now.
Yeah, that's really good
And
for the league, in my opinion.
yeah, it makes it interesting. Or have that little bit a team that just doesn't belong up there just say, no, we're gonna have a crack at it and we're gonna do our best
Actually, we
and
don't
kind of see
care
how
that we
far we
don't
can get.
belong there. We're not listening to that.
Yeah, We're gonna prove them that they are wrong,
Yeah.
and I really like that. Right, last game on that day, we have Norwich against Bournemouth. Now, at the time, I believe this was 20th place Norwich against 19th placed Bournemouth.
Yeah, the battle of the losers, in a way.
Yeah, 0-0 in the first game, kind of fitting. This time, a Norwich win. So not only did Bournemouth get humiliated at home by Watford, now they lost to the team in last place as well. And yeah, not good.
This ain't how they started the season.
No, they started quite well,
Yeah.
and they did what they could, but yeah, something happened. Started losing points. I don't know what happened.
No, not me either.
I still don't, but yeah, looked really dark at this point,
Yeah.
and they were pretty much locked in for going down, which has changed since then. But once again, we'll get on to that later.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next day, Sunday the 19th of January, we had Liverpool against Manchester United. Now, the first time these met this season, Man United managed to get a point. The only team still to take points off of Liverpool. That would not um, happen again. Liverpool came out 2-0 winners. They were the better team.
I had such high
But
hopes of United.
yeah, like, yeah, if they done it once, they can do it again. A little bit like
Exactly.
that, maybe. But yeah, no, they
I want a close league. It should be really close in points in the top, not like this.
yeah. I actually seen a list of all the top five leagues in Europe and the leaders and the point tally down to second place and further on. And um, there's a bigger gap between Liverpool and Manchester City than they are in between PSG and the fourth team in the league.
Ouch.
And French is a league that we think, yeah, it's one team and they're just running away with it.
Yeah.
But they have a less lead over the fourth place in team in the league than Liverpool has over Man City,
Yeah, that's
which
saying
is
a lot.
just insane.
And most oftenly, same thing goes for Juventus. They usually run away with the league by this time of the year,
Yeah,
but not this year.
no, they're only what 3 points ahead of
Yeah,
Inter at the
it's
moment.
really weird. But in now in Premier League for some reason, the league that is actually, in my opinion, famous for being pretty close, they're just
Yeah,
running away.
yeah, which is insane.
Yeah.
I would I did not see this coming at the start of the
No,
season.
not me either.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on. Tuesday the 21st of January, we have two more games. And we start off with Sheffield United again against Manchester City. Now, the first time they met at the Etihad, Man City came away with a 2-0 win, which I think was good by Sheffield United to keep it that close.
Yeah.
Because shortly before that, Leicester, one of the contenders for the second place, had lost 4-1 to Man City at the Etihad. So for Sheffield only to lose 2-0, I thought was a massive showing of just how good they are.
And I still think the result that will come here is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, City won 1-0
Yeah.
at Sheffield
And
Lane.
that's not embarrassing at all.
Is it Bramall Lane? I might be wrong. Um, their home stadium anyway.
Yeah.
And it's still amazing. Like 2 games to Man City and only losing 3-0 on aggregate. That's really good. Because yes, they are they are only second. That makes it makes it sound so mean. But looking at the team, they are still one of the best in Europe.
Yeah.
It's just that where has Liverpool come from? Like,
I have no idea.
yeah,
What
So,
the heck
but yeah,
happened?
Manchester City is still a slaughter machine on their day,
Yeah.
and still 2 games to Sheffield United, and they only managed to score 3 goals. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Right, next game, also on the 21st, Chelsea versus Arsenal. The I was supposed to say the big Arsenal, the big London derby. Sorry, Tottenham.
Oh.
Um, last time at the Emirates, Chelsea managed to get a 2-1 win after going behind 1-0 actually. This time around, it was a 2-2 draw. And I don't know, is that a showing of what Arteta is starting to create?
I have no
That they
idea, but
scored one
I
more goal?
remember saying that this was going to be a close one.
Yeah. I don't remember
Oh, not me
what
either.
we guessed this game would end, but yeah. I guess the 2-2 in a way makes sense. There are two teams that belong to the top, and none of them actually have really fulfilled their potential this season.
Yeah.
So it kind of fits that none of them got full points.
But I'm more, what do you say, more into excusing Chelsea than Arsenal about it.
Yeah,
Because
true.
Chelsea is having that young team, and they didn't have any possibility of signing anyone or anything before the season.
Hmm.
What's Arsenal's excuse?
Yeah, and the fun part is even now they have a full window to sign someone.
Yeah.
They didn't, which I think is an interesting idea. That Lampard, at the start of the season, he thought that yeah, I'm going to have this full season. We're not going to have a January transfer window. It's going to be shut down. And then he found out no, we can actually buy someone in the window, and they're talking about all these big signings in the media. Like one of the ones that popped up most frequently was the Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
And in the end, they didn't sign anyone, and that's an interesting thing. Of
Really?
pretty much Lampard saying, "Yeah, we don't need to strengthen. We have everything we need right here."
Yeah, the only thing
And
they're displeased about is kind of the goalkeeper.
yeah, that is actually an interesting idea because
Uh,
actually in the game against Arsenal, it wasn't Kepa in the goal. Oh wait, no, was that against Arsenal? I might be wrong actually.
yeah.
Let me double check. Yeah, sorry, that was not against Arsenal. It was against Leicester. They were in next game. Then Kepa wasn't in goal. It was Willy Caballero,
Yeah.
their second goalkeeper. He was in goal there. But yeah, they're apparently planning or thinking about selling Kepa only after 1 year at the club.
Yeah, and he was so
Yeah,
promising.
yeah.
It
Most
was like
expensive goalkeeper
that
ever.
was the time when every damn team brought in a world-class goalkeeper in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I was just going for a while. How do they find all these keepers?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to be fair, the funny part is all the big ones. I managed to know about them, so they weren't that big a surprise. Like, oh yeah, him. I know that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still fun to see them try and, of course, not kept not working out, but at least according to some people in Chelsea, or at least according to the media, he hasn't worked out. But yeah,
Yeah.
they have 6 months to solve it. We'll see more what happens in the summer.
Yep.
So right, last game we said to look on was Wolverhampton against Liverpool, because this was a close affair the first time they
Yeah.
met.
And
Liverpool
I'm
managed to get
impressed
away
by
with the
Wolves
1-0
here.
win.
If we go on 2 games, I'm impressed.
Yeah. Second game losing 2-1 away at home at the Molineux.
Yeah.
But first of all, that was the first game in. Well, before this, Allison had kept 7 clean sheets, and Wolverhampton managed to break that and score a goal against Liverpool, which is good. And yeah, they only lost 2-1. Like, in a way, that's showing a strength, just like Sheffield United only losing 3-0 on aggregate to Manchester City.
Yeah.
Like a similar thing. Wolverhampton only losing 3-1 to Liverpool. So yeah.
Well, I think that's a really good. Isn't that the best someone has done against Liverpool? Almost.
Well,
Not
the
United,
best
mate.
is, yeah, best is United.
Yeah, but
because
that's
they have lost 3-1 as well, but they actually took a point from Liverpool, the only team
exactly.
to
But
do
you know
so.
what I
But
mean? Like that's really good against Liverpool.
yeah, it's really good.
City can't show those numbers.
No, what was it? 3-1 loss? 3-2?
I have no idea what it was, but
I can't remember. They lost anyway.
yeah.
That's the thing I remember. But yeah,
So it's
impressive about Wolverhampton.
yeah,
So yeah,
over 2 games, really impressive.
yeah, but yeah. Those are the games we looked at. Now, some other things we might want to talk about over this of this last month. And why not start with Bournemouth? Because we already mentioned them a few
Oh yeah,
times. They looked really bad. Starting from the bottom, starting from early January, they lost to West Ham 4-0, lost to Watford 3-0, to Norwich 1-0. We mentioned those two games. And then comes the last two games, two home games. First, a 3-1 win against Brighton, and then a 2-1 win against Aston Villa.
yeah. What happened?
Yeah, where's this coming from? Just a game before, Aston Villa won against Watford, the team that before this had been running really hot.
Yeah.
So it's like, what happened? Aston Villa managed to beat Watford, which is a team on form, but then Bournemouth, which is the team completely at the bottom of the fourth table, win against Aston Villa. Like,
I have no idea what's happening.
but yeah, just football. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not played on paper.
Well,
Eh,
another team
yeah,
we
so,
have to mention is that Manchester United. Oh,
yeah,
that's sad. The
yeah.
last 5 games.
Been yeah, last 5 games, 1-1, scored goals in one. Their 4-0 win against Norwich.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they've been shut out now for 3 straight games. Because they had the 0-2 to Arsenal, they had the 4-0 to Norwich, and then they had the 0-2 to Liverpool, which is understandable. They had the 0-2 to Burnley,
Yeah.
which is not understandable.
No.
And then they had the 0-0 against Wolverhampton, which we already touched upon slightly.
So they actually have 6-4 in goal difference.
Yeah, or 4-6 if you
Yeah.
say goal scored first.
Oh yeah. But that's
But
not good.
no, they're not the only team with only one win in the last 5 of the top teams. Chelsea, the same, went against Burnley. Funny enough, the team that Man United lost to, a 3-0 win. Other than that, draw to Brighton, lost to Newcastle, and draw against Arsenal and Leicester.
Yeah, they're drawing a lot.
Yeah, of course, there's still some tough games there. Brighton, maybe not that one,
Oh yeah,
1-1.
Bright.
Maybe they should be winning that. Newcastle, they really shouldn't be losing against Newcastle. But Arsenal, Leicester, I think absolutely the Leicester game. I think it's positive that Chelsea managed to draw that because Leicester was the better team. But yeah, Chelsea managed to get a draw out of that, and I think that's positive for them. The third team with only one win this month is Arsenal. Already mentioned there, one against Man United, but then 4 draws: Crystal
Yeah.
Palace, Sheffield United, Chelsea, Burnley. Wow, Burnley is everywhere.
Yeah.
I haven't thought
Burnley.
about that.
Burnley is facing everyone.
Yeah, won against Man United, lost against Chelsea, and drew against Arsenal. That's a really tough schedule.
Yeah, but still,
Oh,
I'm impressed by Burnley.
yeah, and in between that, okay, just listen to Burnley's.
Yeah.
Well, this going a little bit off the rails. Aston Villa first, they lost to. Of course they did. Then they had Chelsea away, lost that. Then they had Leicester at home. They won that. They had Man United away. They won that. And then they played Arsenal at home and drew. Those 4 games, Chelsea, Leicester, Man United, and Arsenal, managed to get with 6 points from those.
6?
Or
Yeah.
7 games even. 7 points.
What?
That is
Yeah.
impressive.
Oh yeah, 7 points. That's one of the hardest schedule that no one ever someone has at all.
Yeah. I mean, the worst one was probably what
Sheffield.
Sheffield had
Yeah,
before. They
but
had
this
like
is damn
Man City,
impressive.
Liverpool, some other team, then Liverpool.
Yeah,
Like it was insane. But yeah, really impressive by Burnley. I hadn't even seen that before now.
yeah, that was really amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, we talked about West Ham before.
Yeah,
Let's fully delve in because yeah, as we said, not looking great for them.
oh,
They have 0 wins in the last 5 games. They have 2 draws.
yeah.
They're at the very bottom of the form table, and even more urgent, they're in the relegation zone.
I'm excusing them for the 2-0 loss against Liverpool and the 4-1 against Leicester, the losses. I'm excusing them for that.
The losses, yes, but conceding 4 against Leicester, that's not good enough.
Ask
I
Southampton about it.
think. True, that's also the thing. They lost 9-0. They actually won earlier this month, 2-1. Another team we should catch up on the ball later, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm not sure. To be fair, they have faced Sheffield United, a good team right now. They lost. Everton, a newly formed Everton, which under Carlo Ancelotti looks way better.
yeah.
Managed to get a draw. Leicester, I said. Liverpool, I said. Yeah, I guess the really big blimp for them is the home game against Brighton, where they managed to only get a 3-3.
Yeah, that's not
So
okay with West Ham standards.
maybe it's a little bit harsh to them to say they're in trouble, but
Yeah,
they are in the relegation. So I really hope for their sakes that it is indeed just hard fixture list at the moment,
yeah.
and they will be able to come back. And yeah, and Southampton,
They're a big surprise at the moment, according to me.
yeah, like they are still looking at the form table. They are third behind the two top teams, Liverpool and Man City. They have climbed all the way to 13th in the table after pretty much looking nailed on for relegation earlier. Managed to get a 1-0 win against Tottenham. They won against Leicester. They won against Crystal Palace. They narrowly lost to Wolverhampton, losing 3-2 after being 2-0 up after the first half. And they got demolished by Liverpool by 4 goals to 0.
Yeah, but I'm still rooting for Danny Ings as
Right.
Golden Boot.
Yeah. I mean, he's not far off. Right now, he's on 14. The leader, Vardy, is on 17.
Yeah,
He's only 3 goals behind. Um,
I'm
like,
impressed.
yeah, yeah. It's not in the best form at the moment, though, sadly. But
Well,
yeah, he was in really good form there for a while. Now he's only scored 2 goals in the last 5 games, and that was actually in
yeah. In my
it was
opinion, he's a
14
guy
or
that if you're not
14.
your own favorite player wins the Golden Boot, you want him to win. Nobody has anything against that guy.
Yeah. So I think this might be wrong, and you're allowed to correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe this is the first time that Danny Ings is above 10 goals in the
I
season,
think it is.
and yeah, he's already on 14, and he still has a good 13 games to score more.
He is gonna win this.
So, well, maybe not win, but can he reach 20?
Going for Danny Ings.
That would
Danny
be
Ings.
amazing if Danny Ings could score 20 goals this
Yeah,
season. I hope it for his sake that he'll be able to, because 20 is one of those. You score 20 goals, you're a really good striker. You scored 20 goals in a league season. That's really,
yeah.
really good.
I'm surprised.
Yeah,
I'm surprised already by him.
yeah, yeah. I did not expect this
Well,
when he left Liverpool to join Southampton. So yeah, happy for him.
and
And I hope
Rashford
it.
is sneaking up there.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons why Man United is going to miss him.
Yeah,
He is actually split third in the league for goals scored together with Aubameyang, already mentioned Ings, and Mohamed Salah. So
yeah.
only Aguero and Vardy have scored more.
Yeah, the big guys are catching up to Ings.
Yeah, yeah. Tammy Abraham 1 goal behind. Jimenez, Harry Kane, Sadio Mane, Timo Pukki, Raheem Sterling, all on 11 goals.
Yeah.
Of course, saying that Kane is out injured, Mane is out injured. Um,
That Danny Ings needs Wardy injured.
Yeah, well, right now he has 0 goals scored in his last 5 games, and he's not even injured. So
Okay, he can
he's
continue.
definitely in a goal drought party right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, he just has to have him continue like this. The problem is now, I would say, is Aguero.
Oh
He
yeah,
scored 6 goals in his last 5 games, or actually in his last 4 games, if you look, and which games he scored these goals. So he's the real problem right now. I
he's
would say
going to be out there.
he's the most informed striker right now, followed closely by Salah, 4 in his last 5.
Yeah.
So
And in
yeah,
assist, it says it's like usual. Kevin
yeah,
De Bruyne.
yeah, 15 assists.
Yeah.
Finally, we got another player on double digits, and that's Alexander
Yes.
Arnold for Liverpool on 10. But I mean, he's still 5 assists
That
behind.
took a while.
Yeah, but yeah, we're finally up on 2. And then it's quite even behind. We got a bunch on 7 and a bunch on 6
Yeah.
assists. So
That's gonna be mental. That's 7-6.
yeah, but it's actually looking at the guys with 7 assists. We have Roberto Firmino, Liverpool. We have Riyad Mahrez, David Silva, Man City. We have Son from Tottenham, and we have Traore from Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
And then we got a little guy called Emil Buendia from Norwich up
Yeah.
there. The team at the bottom of the table has one of the best assisters in the league at this moment.
Yeah. Amazing.
I'm surprised that they managed to keep a hold of him through the January window. I'm glad for them that they managed to
Did
do it,
anyone even try to get him?
but I don't know. I haven't heard any rumors about him leaving,
Not me either.
but surely the Premier League clubs have seen him and seen him as a possible guy to snag up, because he looks really good when it comes to creative numbers and the assists he's getting for this team that has a problem scoring goals lately. Not at the start of the season, but lately they've had that problem again.
Yeah.
There's only 2 teams scoring less goals than them so far this season, and that's Watford and Crystal Palace.
I just watched the clean sheets here. I'm really impressed. Henderson and
Yeah,
Pope has the same amount of clean sheets. Is it clean sheets? No, what is it?
yeah, exactly. They have 9 clean sheets,
That's
as many as Allison.
That's amazing.
Yeah, of course, Allison was out for a bit of the season, and those 9 clean sheets have come in 10 games since he came back. So since that first clean sheet, he's been pretty much unbeatable, except as already mentioned, Jimenez managed to get a ball past him. But yeah, Henderson, a lone guy for Man United. I think they have their replacement David De Gea if he wants to leave now.
I think that's solved.
Yeah, and Nick Pope, rumored Chelsea are interested in signing him in the summer. Um,
Yeah, why not?
yeah, and Schmeichel on 8 clean sheets. Ben Foster, Watford on 8. And for a team that's been struggling so much this season, I really like that.
Yeah, that's really nice. And I'm totally sure that Fabianski would be much higher if it wasn't for the injuries.
Oh yeah. I mean, so like, yeah, he has 4 clean sheets and 15 conceded goals.
Yeah.
He's, according to that, 15th best when it comes to clean sheets and then conceded goals. So, but yeah, definitely, if because he was really good. It was a big blow
Yeah.
for West Ham that he got injured.
If you actually check that numbers, clean sheets against goal scores, Henderson is so damn impressive. Okay,
Yeah,
Alisson also, but still, for a team that gets a lot of shots at them.
yeah. I mean, Dean Henderson has better stats than Edison of Man City.
Yeah.
Edison has 7 clean sheets and he has conceded 22 goals. Henderson has 9 clean sheets and has only conceded 20.
Yeah.
And that's in more game time than Edison. Henderson missed 1 game, I believe, the game against Man United. He was not allowed to play that game. And I believe Edison missed 2 or 3 games with injury. early in the season.
Yeah, something like that.
Um, Actually, no, he's missed 4 games.
Yeah.
That was more than I thought. Um, so yeah,
I'm really impressed by
yeah,
Henderson
yeah,
because he has. If you can, okay, Allison is of course impressing, but he has a better team in front of him. He doesn't
yeah,
get a lot of the same amount of shots at him.
yeah. And he's a known world-class keeper.
Yeah,
Dean Henderson was not.
no,
So yeah, I don't know because he is on loan from Man United. I don't know if it say it was a 2-year loan, which I'm guessing it was. Is this his first season? Is this his second season? I don't know.
mm.
But yeah, but
He's a surprise. Didn't think he was this good.
yeah, and I don't know how old he is, but I believe he's English. Maybe England has a new possible World Cup keeper, like or a new team for the a new goalkeeper for the national team.
Yeah,
Like, cause yeah,
it could be
yeah,
something.
really, really impressive. Just yeah.
Henderson, he's oh my god, he's just 22. Okay, he's
Well, look at
23
that.
soon
Yeah,
in
but
March.
all right. So yeah, 23,
What my,
2020.
that's
Like,
impressive.
yeah, it's he's gonna be interesting to follow. Let's hope he doesn't have a career like Jack Butland, which broke through at Stoke around 21, 22, and
Mm.
then he got nowhere pretty much.
Right, he's stuck.
Yeah, he stayed in Stoke when all the big teams came in for him, and then he when Stoke got relegated, he followed them down, and since then he's been stuck in the second division.
Yeah,
So
and according to me, he's way too good to be in Stoke.
yeah, absolutely back then. Now I don't know. I haven't seen him in many years now, but
Mm.
the fact that he's yeah, we haven't heard anything about him when it comes to national teams or signings for big teams up in the
Mm.
Premier League. It kind of makes it seem like yeah, he didn't manage to fulfill his potential.
Oh,
And let's hope that Dean Henderson doesn't follow uh, that way, but instead actually manage to fulfill his.
yeah. If Sheffield United continues like this through the season, he will.
Yeah,
At least this season.
yeah, or maybe when he returns to say he returns to United next season.
Yeah. Oh, let's just hope he doesn't
Imagine
get
if De
stuck.
Gea, imagine if De Gea leaves, or or Henderson actually starts fighting De Gea for the who's the first goalkeeper
Yeah.
in
I
United.
hope he doesn't get stuck behind the here.
Yeah,
That's
and
just
I hope
too.
if he does, that he has the mind to say no, I need playing time, and at least force another loan, or maybe even sell him
Yeah.
to someone that actually play him. Because how good he's been this season, he deserves to play week in week out in the Premier League.
Yeah. At least more chances than he will get in United. That's something to be sure of. If he gets behind De Gea, he won't get many chances.
No, but that's if. Because
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows what will happen?
Yeah. No.
All right, let's move on to the upcoming games for February. This is gonna gone on long enough anyway. So let's start on Friday, the 14th of February, with Wolverhampton against Leicester. Now, Leicester, of course, in third spot in the league. They are 2 points behind Man City. They have been looking. If there's any team to challenge Man City's second place, it's going to be Leicester. Wolverhampton, we find in eighth place in the league, just 2 points off fifth, and has been really impressive this season. And last game, it was a 0-0. So, yeah, what do we think?
Oh yeah, this is a hard one. I'm going for 3-1 to Leicester.
Oh, wow. You really think Leicester is going to hammer this home?
And I actually believe in Vardy.
he's going to score a hat trick, or he's just going to go on the clean sheet.
He's just going to score.
All right. Yeah, to be fair, it's kind of hard to say against that, but I don't think it's going to be that many goals.
No?
I'm actually just going to go for a 1-0 Leicester win.
Oh, yeah. At least we agree on who's winning.
Yeah, even though it's Molineux, it's very hard to get away from there with points.
Yeah.
But I think Leicester is one of those teams that will be able to make it.
And that would be interesting because they really need to challenge City now.
Yeah, they have a chance because City does not look strong.
Mm.
Or they look strong, but they're a little bit shaky.
Yeah, they go up and down.
It's hard to explain, but yeah. But yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
Monday the 17th of February, we have Chelsea versus Man United.
Oh yeah.
Now, last time they met was at the start of the season. Man United won 4-0.
This is gonna be a shocker if I say my opinion, but I think Chelsea can take this one.
Well, I don't think that's a shocker because I agree. But because at the moment, I would say Chelsea's in better form,
Yeah.
and just yeah, I just think Chelsea has more to
And just
come
to
to.
keep
Yeah.
with the United way of playing football for some reason, I have to go with 2-0 to Chelsea.
Yeah. In the 5 last games for Man United, either side has always gotten the 0 goals,
Yeah.
which is weird. Um, I'm sadly going to say that they break that, but Chelsea's going to win 2-1.
Oh no.
But yeah, still
How
a Chelsea
could
win.
you?
Yeah. Rules are meant to be broken. All right.
No.
All right, let's move 5 days further to Saturday, 22nd of February, and the next Chelsea game, this time at home against Tottenham.
Oh yeah, you can start here.
Yeah, this is another interesting game because Chelsea, Tottenham, 4th and 5th in the table. Chelsea is 4 points ahead, but imagine a Tottenham win here.
Oh no.
That would actually bring Tottenham within grasp of actually getting top 4.
Yeah.
This is massive. And they are in actually better shape than Chelsea is right now in points seen over the last 5 games. This is a tough one. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, actually.
I'm going 2-1 Tottenham.
Hmm.
Interesting. I don't think Chelsea will be able to push another great win in a row.
Yeah, definitely interesting.
Yeah.
See, because these are some massive dates here for Chelsea.
It
Two
really
important
is.
games if they want to keep that top 4 place. All right, same day, battle for top 2, Leicester versus Manchester City.
That's a great football day. Don't miss that one.
Yeah, just Tottenham and Leicester Man City. I hope it's not at the same time. It's probably at the same time just to be rude to us.
Yeah.
Last time it was 3-1 to Man City, not 4-1 as I said. And yeah, Man City, they are the better team. They're supposed to be the better team. Leicester's been doing some impressive stuff this season. I think they're going to duplicate it. I'm going to say a 3-1 win to Man City. Even though they're away from home.
I'm going with a 4-1 City.
Oh, wow. You really think they're going to hammer it home?
And I can gladly say that it's not the same time.
What do you mean the same
the
time?
matches in the.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we can all watch it. We have the channels.
Perfect.
Glorious.
Yeah.
And it's even a cool down match in the middle of it, so you can recover your nerves.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So a perfect football day, just 3 games, just straight on.
Yeah.
All right. Day after, Sunday the 23rd, we have Arsenal versus Everton.
Oh yeah.
Now this is here mostly because of Everton's good form and Arsenal Well, they haven't lost. Them and Liverpool, the only teams that haven't lost any of the last 5 games at the time of recording this. But at the same time, Arsenal only won one, so yeah.
Yeah.
Last time it was 0-0. Actually, this was the first game of both Miguel Arteta and Carlo Ancelotti were both in the stands watching this game
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
when it happened last time.
Yeah, I remember that match.
So
In the good
yeah,
old days.
you go. Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, I'm going with
What
1-1.
do you think?
1-1.
A 1-1 draw.
Glorious.
Yeah. I'm gonna say 1-2. I think Everton's gonna win this.
Oh, that's
I think
interesting.
Arsenal is shaky at the best of days, and Everton right now actually look quite good.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah. And talking about Everton, moving to the Sunday, the 1st of March, which I know it's in March, but it's the same what do you say, round
Yeah.
as right at the end of February. So we decided to put it in anyway.
Yeah.
We have Everton against Man United.
Oh no.
Last time 1-1 draw,
This is a creepy
and
one.
yeah, once again Everton looking quite good, Man United looking shaky.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do we think?
Oh yeah, this is a hard one. I'm still going with United, but at 2-1.
A 2-1 to United.
Yeah, it's a hard one. In the 80th,
Yeah.
80, somewhere between 85 and 90 minutes.
Yeah. I'm gonna say they're gonna duplicate the 1-1.
Wow, this is getting
Actually,
tight.
yeah. That's what I'm gonna go for.
Yeah.
The last game we're gonna talk about: Tottenham Wolverhampton, also on the 1st of March.
That can also be an ugly match.
Yeah, because Wolverhampton, we already talked about them. They are masters of getting good points,
Yeah.
and Tottenham a little bit up and down during Mourinho, but they had at the best they can beat
Yeah.
Manchester City.
They did the exact opposite what everybody thought they would do. They thought that Tottenham would have a defense.
Yeah,
They let in every goal possible in the beginning.
yeah. For a while there, they conceded the most goals in the Premier League.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And Mourinho is
After
famous
Mourinho
for
had it.
Mourinho is famous for not allowing that.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
That's
a
a
tough
hard one,
one.
and you can start this time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I feel
I'm gonna.
I feel so generous today.
Yeah, you don't you? I'm gonna go with the Wolverhampton 2-1 win.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I'm going with a 1-0 win to Tottenham.
To Tottenham. All
And
right.
I think I'm even gonna predict the scorer. It's Berwin win or what I
Yeah,
heard.
yeah, the new guy from PSV.
Yeah, he will score the goal.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah, he has a really good foot for it on volley, bastard.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, Bergwijn, I believe he's on the left, or I think he was on the left at least against City.
Yeah,
And
he was good.
Adama Traore on the right for Wolverhampton. That's going to be interesting. If them two go up 1-on-1. Yeah, that's something to watch out. A game inside the game.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's the games.
that was those games.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah, and
I
that
guess
was all
it's
for us,
time
I
to
guess,
wrap
for this time.
it.
And thank you for listening. It was fun recording it as always. Hope it was bearable to listen to it at least.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah,
if this
hope
was
you
a
can
long
stand
one.
us for this much longer to talk about all this.
Yeah, you're clearly torturing yourselves. But yeah, that was all from us, and we will be back in about a month with Premier League. But shortly after this, in a week or something, we should be back with the Champions League. That will be interesting. But that was all from us. Bye.
Bye.